Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast, covering Married at First Sight Australia, Season 9, Episodes 9 through to 12. Now, Chris, we managed not to blow away yesterday after, what was it? Not Eugene. Eunice, wasn't it?
Eunice.
Storm Eunice was blowing through there. It was proper Wizard of Oz stuff, wasn't it, in the UK?
It was, yeah. I came out to pick Sam up from work, and one of the fence panels next door blew out, but it's like as if someone had dived through from the bottom. You know, you see these videos on TikTok where they've sort of dived through the bottom, and the top's left, and it's the top of the thing. It was all over the road. It was bizarre, but you're right. There was just trees, branches everywhere. Luckily, it wasn't as bad in Manchester, but I know you guys had it far worse down south.
Yeah, it's weird because normally especially in Bedfordshire, right? We are so far away from any coast. We usually get away with it all, but yeah, we had a few trees come down, a few roads closed off and stuff because of that. But yeah, we got through it in the end. It was saying on the news like it's the worst storm for a decade, but I'll be honest with you, I genuinely do not remember it being this bad in my lifetime, and that might be just because I was oblivious to the ones previous, but. Yeah, I stayed indoors, so it wasn't too bad until the evening, and then by the evening, it had pretty much gone. But,
yeah.
That's
the one, Dave. And also somebody who's going on holiday today, seeing the planes fucking trying to land at Heathrow. It wasn't giving me a lot of confidence, Dave. Somebody on purpose sent me the link to this guy who's doing like a sort of football commentary to the planes trying to land at Heathrow. And I'm thinking, I'm going there. I'm going there today. Or we're going from Manchester to Heathrow, then on to it's Sam's birthday, isn't it, for Dubai. So we're off there. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? We are not getting on that plane. No, don't do this to me.
I was fucking looking at it on the BBC website. I tell you what, those pilots are fucking brilliant because
yes,
you could see the wind blowing the planes bloody sideways at times. They still manage to bloody land it, and then they get the back tires down, and then you can see the front before they can get the front one, and the wind's fucking taking it away. It's like, oh fuck me! I must admit, I was watching that and thinking, I hope this has died down before Chris fucking takes off. Well, you've got it worse, haven't you? You're going to land and take off from Heathrow. So it could have been proper brown trousers time.
You fucking will be later, Dave. Don't worry, I'll still be.
Well, anyway, Chris, speaking of a shit storm.
Very good segue.
See what I did there? What I did? So... obviously, fucking MAFS. I absolutely love this season. As we've said before, the Aussies just bring it, don't they? We start off with episode 9, and it's the commitment ceremony. I'd kind of forgotten about the commitment ceremony, coming around. I always focus on the dinner parties, but the commitment ceremonies can be just as good, can't they? So, where do you want to start with the commitment ceremony?
Well, I think one of my observations, Dave, and I think we talked about this last series of MAFS, was you can see who wants to stay in it for the fame, who wants to stay in it for the TV time, because, there's some solid relationships there without a doubt, but there's some absolutely, by a fucking thread, they are together. They shouldn't carry on, but it's like, we're going to have a go. And I'm like, fuck off. They're not going to be together.
I'm going to find it really hard not to go in for the whole episode on Andrew, to be honest.
Oh, Dave. Well,
can we start there with the commitment ceremony? Because what a fucking absolute prize cock he is. Because he absolutely sat there and just launched into Holly. She'd made him fucking cupcakes for his daughter's birthday, and he was like, I didn't even see an apology note in there. She's made you fucking cupcakes. She's never met your daughter, you bellend. These are the apology, you fuckhead. And so, honestly, I was fucking really screaming at the screen at the time when this was on. And then he's like, well, I'm going to stay. Like, oh, fuck off. You just want the TV time, don't you? For me, that was the most blatant, where it was like, You just want to be on TV, don't you, mate? There's literally nothing positive that you've said about Holly that could make you want to stay. It is just you want to stick around for a bit longer.
Yeah, and you know, the fact that it's this motivational speaker, there's going to be fucking nobody turning up to his next fucking TED Talk, Dave. I'm telling you. Can
you imagine it? People would be like fucking lemmings, fucking wanting to jump off a cliff after being motivated by him. What the fuck could he motivate? He is the most disrespectful douchebag I think I've seen on this season. This series, even, you know, the whole thing. Honestly, Chris, and you know what rubs me up the wrong way as well? It's when he says, like, well, as a leader, I have to be better, and, you know, and he's just like, well, you're displaying this narcissistic behavior, and he's just fucking coming out with all these cliches, but he's fucking firing it out in all directions, and I'm glad Alessandra called him out, didn't she? You know, because he's saying, well, I can't sugarcoat things, you know, I just have to, you know, I'm telling the truth. And that's the thing we see in a lot of these reality dating shows, isn't it? It's just, well, I'm just being honest. Well, yeah, you cauliflowered sorry, cauliflowered eared I'm just being honest. You are a prize fucking cockhead, and you win Bell End of the Week. It's a new award, Chris. I think I'm going to continue this, and it's or it could be just the Andrew Award. To be honest.
Well, I've got a slightly different take on this, Dave. So Andrew, I completely agree. He's a fucking cock, an absolute horrid man, and he the disrespect towards Holly is a disgrace. And I'm with you. I'm so glad Alessandra called him out. John was the same. Mel, I finally remembered all the names, Dave. I may have searched on Google to make sure I don't forget the judges' names because I'm useless with them. But they were right what they were saying. It's like, and you can be honest, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's better to be honest, but that doesn't allow you to just be fucking plain rude with people and just really nasty and gaslighting completely. Absolutely Gaslighter 101. I will say, Dave, though, and this isn't just me. Like, me and Sam have watched this all week, and it obviously gets to like episode the last two of this week, like 11 and 12, and we both have the same opinion. There's something not right with Holly. I don't know whether she's got there's anything not. No, that's probably the wrong word, that, but I don't know whether she's taking medication or she's got ADHD or something. But I think if she'd been with someone else, she wouldn't have been as gaslighted as the way he is, because Andrew's a cock. But there's something off with her, Dave, and I can't put my finger on it, because she just goes from 0 to 100 when she goes psycho. And I get it. I totally get it. Andrew, he's horrid. But what I'm trying to say is, I feel for her. I feel as if this is not the platform for her. This isn't me calling her out or taking the piss or anything. I don't. But when she really loses her temper, Dave, I honestly think they need to look at this girl afterwards and like the aftercare stuff, because she seems to be on the edge of something. And it for me, it was quite unpleasant viewing this week, because I was screaming at Andrew, like, you're a fucking dick, get him off the show. But for her, I was like, there's just something not right. So I do, usually me, I'll take the piss and everything, but I am concerned, Dave, because I'm thinking there's just something off here. Whether she is fame hungry and she's got to come up, and I don't think so. I just think there's something else going on there that we don't know about.
Yeah, I don't know. I tell you what I see, because she does. There's various points, certainly in the last couple of episodes. So let's just stick on Holly and Andrew, and then, rather than going episode by episode. I think she's displaying signs of just being fucking abused and gaslit. Think about it. Go back to like when he said, how shit she was in bed, and he felt fucking nothing. And then he just kept going. He was like, not only I didn't feel a connection or anything, but I've had fucking one night stands that are better than you. And he thinks because he delivers it in this very calm and not monotone way, but like just a factual way. He is a motivational speaker. I do think he's full of shit and he can't motivate anyone, but he's clearly used to public speaking. So I think we've seen like her go from right, I'm trying this, and like getting ground down and constantly fucking chipped away at to a point where she's just like, oh, fuck this. And when he's basically saying, we're not just on different pages, we're on different books and everything. That's when we saw her snap for the first time. But he'd already been grinding her down for a fucking long time before that. So, and now, I mean, I don't know if we want to get straight on to the dinner party. Let's do that because, like I say, if we stick on these two, she was just fucking ambushed. And exactly the same as what this fucking shithouse group did to Anthony last week when Selin wound everyone up and everyone just like, rather than hearing the other side, just made their mind up based on one side of the story and just went after Anthony. They did the fucking same here with Holly. And so she's gone in there and she's already been wound up. She's gone back. She's tried to fucking open it up again. And just constantly, he's just being this fucking gaslighting douchebag. And so by the time she walks into the dinner party, she's fucking wound up. And just like, I just want to kind of get through this. I don't want to acknowledge him. I want to see everyone else get a bit of screen time, Chris. And then, just the fact that everyone ambushed her, in my opinion, was disgusting. And she started to get a bit like manic, but for me, it's an abuse thing. It's not like she's wired on whatever. But I to your point, I think you're right. I think she needs to have a bit of aftercare after this series because I do think it's genuine gaslighting that we're seeing here with them two.
Yeah, it's, and you know what, Dave? That's a great perspective on it, I think, because I felt for her, but then I'm thinking, what's going on? Is she okay? And I must admit, the dinner party thing caught me completely off guard because you'd watched it before me and you said like, oh my God. And I was like, oh, what's going on? So when we watched it, I mean, Sam and looking at each other going, where the fuck has all this come from? What's going on? Because the girls just turned on it, didn't they, Dave? It was so bizarre. Yeah. I was like, not all of them. And I've got to give her credit, Dave. I thought me and Sam have been having a bit of a not a dust up, but a bit of a disagreement. But it's, it's nothing new. But, is it Dominica or Dominica or something? And we keep saying a name. I say a name wrong. Yeah. And Sam's like, it's not that. And I'm like, it is actually. So we start like having a bit of a disagreement.
Just say Dom.
Dom. She called him to a tea, Dave. And the judges absolutely loved it. And all three of them were in agreement going, she's right. She's absolutely right what she's saying. Like, I found it bizarre that go on, sorry.
So I'll just say very quickly, I was thinking with Dominica because I thought she was out of order last week when she went for Anthony, and it was good to see her apologize for that and just reset between them two. So I don't think there'll be any beef going forward. But I was thinking she's just the right tool for the right job in this moment with Andrew, because if you've got a vicious dog, it's kind of useful if you've got a burglar. If you want someone to mind your newborn baby, not so much. So it's the same tool. It's just in a different context and situation, isn't it? And I thought in this moment with Andrew, she was the right tool in that right environment. The most disappointing, I think, or the most disappointed I am out of everyone, Chris, is Olivia. I don't know what's going on with her, and I don't know if it's due to her own lack of self-esteem or what, but she just was not interested in hearing Holly's side of the story. And she came across like she was incredibly opinionated about, what Holly should do. Yeah. And of course, Andrew he'd held court beforehand, hadn't he? He'd given everyone the sob story and everyone was just fucking lapping it up. No one more so than Olivia. And I was just like, you need to fucking get some perspective. And right up until that dinner party, I'd really liked Olivia and Jackson. And, they do seem well suited. But that left a sour taste in my mouth, that did.
Yeah, and you know what, Dave? It's funny because I think what Andrew did was what Selling did the week before. He got his.
Yeah, 100%.
What I found, I don't think he got his story across like Selling did, because I've just found everyone so judgmental. I was completely caught off guard with this. I wasn't expecting anybody to go out to bat for him. I know they don't see all of it, but I was thinking, is there stuff going on here that we don't know about? That, you know, is he telling people, like, as they go to the gym, don't they, and stuff, and we don't see all that. Like in the last series, there was that couple who got together. Sam's, I can't remember her bloody name. She was the ex-police.
It was Beck and Bryce with the conversation in the gym.
Yeah, you know, you're my type and all this, and he was denying it. And then you had the bald-headed lad with the girl who's the ex-cop, and they you know, they'd had a bit together, and they, you know, that Sam wanted to fight with him.
Coco.
That's it, Coco. I can't remember.
God, I'm sure there's useful information I've got in my brain that's pushed out because of remembering all these shithouse fucking fame-hungry wannabes.
Wankers. But you're right. There must be stuff that he's telling people, and the lads are going back to the girls because it was the most bizarre take. And I mean, I've got to call out the judges again, Dave. They're fucking rubbish. I'm sorry. They're absolutely rubbish. They're just sitting there letting Dominica fucking go for him. I know they can't get involved like that, but I'm like, you and we'll talk about that in a minute, because there was a bit with Selling and Andrew where they did nail him in episode 9, didn't they? They sort of went after him for the behaviour. But other than that, I've seen nothing from them. I'm like, you're shit. You just sat there like a load of school kids, just pissing yourself going, oh, that's terrible. Well, when you meet up with them all, fucking tell them.
Basically,
lay into
they're basically us.
Yeah, basically us.
Basically us. Like, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
You can't say that.
Don't do that again. But just quickly going back to that episode 9, how good was it when the judges went after Andrew and Selling, Dave? And Selling got a fucking shoeing off John and Mel. They went at her, and he was like, "It's not funny." And she was like doing the air quotes. Once you're like, "Oh well, I've offended him," and all. I'm doing David Brent all day. I'm doing proper, you know, everything she said. You could tell she wasn't buying into any of it. However, there has been a sea change with her now. Whether they've humbled her, or whether she's gone, oh shit, Australia's going to fucking hate me and the viewers are going to hate me, I need to tone this down, I don't know. But that was a turning point for her, whether we believe it's real or not.
I would love to think she's had that penny dropping moment and she's gone through life and no one's actually called out her bullshit before. They've just all, like we saw last week, that when she's held court, everyone's just lapped it up and, you know, they've demonized whoever bloke it is that's on the receiving end, and everyone's just agreed with her and gone along with it. And this is the first time she's actually been told it. I would love to think that, Chris. I think my gut is telling me, though, she's just fame hungry and realizes that she's coming across quite badly and she needs to correct that. And so in order to stay on TV and in order to not be the series villain, because don't forget, this is Married at First Sight. It's not Bachelor. With Bachelor, if you're the villain, you've got a good chance of getting on to Bachelor in Paradise, you know, if you're a really good villain. Whereas for Married at First Sight, this is the only season. And you can see, like with Bryce last season, I don't think he's worked again since. If you come across like a prime douchebag, you know, it's probably not going to end well for you. So I don't know. I'm not buying any of it, but definitely she came across a lot better this week. I just question the real why as to why she's doing that.
Yeah, and you know what, Dave? One of the other issues that we'd gone into in episode 8, which got addressed in this episode, was the Cody and Selena. You know, the whole obviously race incident, and I said then, and we both said the framing of they've made him out to be a racist, basically. And I thought the way it still started bad, everything. But I do think that, and this isn't an excuse, but I do think his speech was genuine. I think he said, like, I'm not very good with my words and things like that. I'm not completely convinced. I don't know whether he's doing the same thing where he's thinking, oh shit, people are going to think I'm a racist because he likes blonde surfer girls. And obviously, Selena isn't blonde. She's not a surfer, you know, so it's all... She's
got dyed blonde hair, hasn't she? I didn't get that. I mean, she has obviously she's not naturally blonde, but how many fucking people are, Chris?
Exactly,
she's
exactly.
dyed her hair blonde. Yeah, completely agree. I think whether it was genuine or not, came across bloody well, that speech, I thought.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I thought he said, I don't think he could have improved on that. I thought it was brilliant the way he said he wasn't very good with his words, and what he really meant to say was he's just never been out with an Asian girl before, so it's different for him, but he thinks she's fantastic and everything. So he could not have improved on that. And I do think, in my gut, Chris, I feel like I believe that story. Out of all the others, like Andrew's, Sellins, I just don't buy at all. His, I did buy.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. And I think one of the other couples which has become really prominent this week is Tamara and Brent for me, because one of them's lying, Dave. One of them's lying. We know we've seen Tamara. We mentioned that she dropped her walls a bit. She changed as a character. There seems to be a proper connection. I don't know whether it is actually Brent, Dave, whether he is the problem, whether he's just so defensive because of the stuff that had happened previously. I don't know, because when I'm watching it this week and the arguments having, then when we get to the dinner party and they're having these bust up all the way there. They're in a taxi, they kick even outside the studio. Then they walk in. I love that. We've all been there, Dave. We've had that argument. Me and Sam have had loads of bust ups, and then people come to your house and you're like, "Hello, would you like a drink?" Like we're fucking couple of the year. Every single fucking married couple does that, don't they? We've all been there. That fucking fake. Oh, I always think, yeah, everything's fine. Next minute, the fucking girlfriend takes the wife off, and they're like, I'm stood there going, fucking argument with her, and all this, like you do, we all do it. And it was funny. And he's like, well, at least get your drink. But the way it went on this week, I was all for Brent, and I'm not sure as I've gone on, I'm thinking it is actually Brent who's the one because he's a snappy little get, and I think he's got a real hang up on what she said. And I don't know, just something was offered for me. I kept thinking he was in the wrong there towards the end of the week.
I don't know. I mean, from episode 1, we'd seen Tamara she came across really badly. Yes. I felt really judgmental and opinionated in episode 1. And then she seemed to soften a bit. And I think the dynamic of them two, I actually feel like it could still potentially work, because she's got such a high opinion of everything that she thinks. Like, it's her way or the highway. Fair enough. But he doesn't stand for the shit. And what I like is this almost fourth wall breaking stuff that Brent does. Because ultimately, what she'd said at the commitment ceremony was, she was asked by John, see, there you go, it's only taken like fucking 3 seasons or something.
Me too.
You've said it enough that I remember his name. If I thought he was some kind of relationship sage, I'd remember his name earlier on, but I don't. So he'd asked, though, is Brent enough for you? And we had that uncomfortable, before you go to commercials, kind of pause from Tamara, and she was just like, I don't know. Now, in the same way that I've said, well, with Cody, I just think he was a bit shit with his words there. I felt at the time that Tamara was interpreting that question wrong. She was hearing, do you think you and Brent will make it, for the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? That's how she was processing that question, I think. But the way it was meant, and the way I think Brent definitely took it was, well, with his occupation and what he does that fit your criteria for a life partner? That's what the question was.
Yes.
So I just think the pause and everything, and it was validated in the next episode. She said, that's not quite what she meant. But yourself, Chris, once you've been really pissed off and you're heated and angry, there is actually no point talking. And I guess maybe for girls it's different. For guys, it's not. Sometimes you just have to leave us alone and just stew a bit. And then once we calm down, we can come back and have a proper conversation. And, you wind your neck in and you're like, you know what, I was a bit of a dick there. Or maybe you're not. It's like, look, isn't as big a deal as we've made it out to be. Whatever that is, sometimes you're just not fucking ready to be talked to. But when she's talking to him and he's just like, look, I don't want to talk, just leave me. But she's like, I think you really, you really need to talk and blah, blah, blah. And you can tell that the cameras are not there 24 hours a day, Chris. So the camera crew's turned up and then she wants to talk. And then he just gets wound up and he's like, you only want to talk now because you know how you're coming across. So he's kind of breaking the fourth wall and telling us, like, she's not like this all the time. The cameras are here and you want to come across better. Like you're this, empathetic person. So I don't know. I think this is, honestly, Chris, this is a toxic couple. I would steer clear of in real life. But I do think I kind of loving the back and forth. And look, it's not definitely one side or the other. It's a mixture of both, isn't it? But I think part of it is the fact that Brent isn't the sort of person to be walked over. And Tamara, with some of the things she's saying like, oh, you just want someone you can protect. She's come in here. Remember The Bachelor, Chris, when they found that guy with all the notes on what to do and what to say?
Yeah.
Right? Tamara's had that in her locker waiting. And if she was with someone like Anthony, you'd see that and think, oh, she's got a point there. It's like, look at fucking Brent. He's tattooed up to the fucking eyeballs. It's like he's been working in nightclubs and stuff. He's not fucking looking for someone to look after, is he? So, it's saying little things like that from Tamara's side that are completely off and out of context. It still makes me honestly think it's more her side than it is on his, to be honest.
Well, did you spot? That's a good point. Did you spot? I'm laughing when they had that argument just before they left for the dinner party, and they'd obviously been arguing off camera, and someone must have literally kicked the door in with the mobile phone because they filmed it in portrait mode. Yeah, it was.
What was that?
I think someone's just grabbed the phone and ran in and gone, shit, they're arguing. Get the footage, because look, I can't imagine the way that argument was going. They've done like a towie where they say to him, right, can you tell us about what happened? And then it gets a bit heated, for the camera, and someone tells someone to fuck off or whatever. It's literally like they've walked in with the phone, because the next minute, someone's got the phone landscape, because you got that horrible border as someone who does YouTube, Dave. I've come privy to that over the years, making them mistakes. But it was weird because there was a couple of shots and I'm like, they haven't staged this. This didn't look like they were staged, because he was watching the fucking TV and stuff, which was funny, but I don't know.
Too loudly, though, Chris. That was the problem.
That was the problem. And then he's saying other things to her and she's saying it to him. But I think you're right. There's a toxic side to that relationship, but I think there's a passion there as well. I think there is a passion. I think there's a physical attraction, but I don't think they're going to be together at the end of this, Dave. I really don't.
No. I mean, of course, there's a physical attraction. They're both good-looking people, aren't they? But at some point, Chris, this relationship will take a nosedive.
Oh, big time. And I'd say another couple, Dave. You dick.
I'm such a dick.
You absolute dick. Less of the nose jokes. But no, I'd say what's had a bit of a weird, and he's acting really bizarre. Is that Mitch? Mitch and Ella. Great looking couple. First couple of episodes, you were like, oh, these are fucking in it. And I said to you the first week we covered, I said, there's been nothing. They were the ones I had down as like, the ones that you wouldn't think could survive or whatever. But they seemed really tight, really good. And then he's just started acting really weird towards her, and like apparently there's no physical touching. He won't kiss her. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? She's a really pretty girl. There's just something off with this kid. I mean, every time he comes on the screen, Sam's like, who the fuck is this guy? He's like a throwback from the 80s. She was saying he was like,
I said last episode,
you did.
He could be the drummer from Bros.
Yeah. She said, what did she say? Did she say Nick Kershaw, haircut 100 or something?
Kershaw, yeah.
Yeah. And she's right. You're both right. I called him Ken, didn't I, Barbie and Ken, but he's just started acting, Dave. I don't know whether he's got fatigue. It's 3 weeks in. last bit of dialogue on episode 12 in the dinner party, I thought was really disrespectful towards her. However, the judges were fucking going mad because she accepted it, Ella, and she went, "Oh yeah, I can see your point." And they were like, "No, like." So I think they're in for a rocky ride, Dave.
Well, I think with Ella and Mitch, what was obvious was there was a massive physical attraction. They're both 9s or 10s, aren't they? You know, it's like, stick them together in close quarters. They're going to fuck each other's brains out for at least a few weeks, you would think. But after that, they have to figure out, you know, if they actually got anything beyond that. And I'm not sure they have. I mean, the doubt that I can't shake is a question that Ella asked very early on, actually. It's like, well, what are you doing on here? You know, you must be on all the dating apps and stuff. And she was getting at the fact he's not struggling to pull stunners as well, is he? No. You know, he walks into a bar. It isn't a setup for a joke, but you know, and if he wants to, he's going to pull. It's just, and you're sort of like, well, what are you doing here then? And he doesn't want to engage. When we had the intimacy week, he just wasn't doing anything. He's like, yeah, this like private moment for us, you know, and not with the cameras here. And it's like, he'd also said before that he wasn't really that bought in. He doesn't think the experts are as good as what they say they are. Now, it's okay for us to say that, Chris, because I think he's right. But, you know, actually saying it to the cameras there, it just seems showing your hand a little bit too much. And fatigue, you mentioned there, is exactly what I was thinking. I was just thinking, I wonder if he's just, you know, he's been putting up this kind of nice guy act and he's just tired of it now. Because the way he was talking to Ella was bang out of order. Yeah. And, you know, she just wanted to diffuse the situation. She realized it was going nowhere. They were going to butt heads. And so she's decided to back down, which is not great. But he is going to get torn a new arsehole, I think, next week.
Yeah, I think so.
The judges. Oh, no, not judges, the matchmakers.
Yeah, yes, I keep calling them judges. It's my fault. No, I'm with you. I think there's something off with this kid. I really do. I mean, Anthony and Selin have faded into the background, so maybe it's their turn to have a bit of drama this next week coming up. But again, Dave, I cannot wait. It's fucking brilliant, this show. It's so good. It is. It's brilliant.
We mentioned about Dominica and Jack, and Dominica going for Andrew and being the only one, really. I'll make a point again that I found it very weird because the group were all there when Andrew was a complete dick in that commitment ceremony. And the things that he was saying, they're just obviously not picking up. He's saying about taking accountability, but he actually doesn't. I'll tell you what, he doesn't like Andrew. He doesn't like it when you criticize him. You can see he's got that inner fucking rage, and he has worked very, very hard to keep a lid on that. And at some point you could see he would go for it, and it probably is 2 previous failed fucking marriages. There's probably clues in there. Dominica and Jack, though, Chris, I must admit, I didn't spot this so much in the first week. But fuck me, I class myself as a bit of a nerd, Chris. But Jack, did you see when the intimacy week? And he was like, they kept showing it, didn't they? There's like, it's like Christmas, but with things that you put in you. And he was just giggling to himself with the fucking most awkward, nerdy giggle you've seen in your life. And I don't know what's going on with him. Clearly, Dominica is a very sexual person. And honestly, Chris, he just comes across a little bit repressed.
Yeah. And you're right. That thing when they got the toys was when he was fucking around with that feather. He was so uncomfortable. Yeah. Like you say, he was like a little kid. And and eventually, me and Sam were watching it going, fucking put that feather down, you fucker. I was like, I'm going to fucking punch the screen in a minute. And then eventually Dominica went, can you stop doing that? It's distracting. Yeah. And then he put it down and still did the actions with his fingers. I was like, oh, there's something going on here. There's something fucking really going on with this guy. Because I couldn't get it. I mean, she was horny as anything. I mean, he literally, and it doesn't, everyone's different. Everyone shows affection, or man, woman differently. But she obviously just wants affection, touch. You know, she wants sex. There's fuck all wrong with that, Dave. You know what I mean? So she is a sexual person, and he obviously isn't. He feels very shy about it. But that was just classic, like children, like distracting. Oh, look at the feather. He was doing that in her face. I'm like, am I really watching this? He was so uncomfortable. Now, whether it's a family thing, and he's thinking, my mum and dad are going to be watching this. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, they're going to give me a roast. I don't know. It might be something the way he's been brought up, but he just, as soon as them toys come out, he was like, oh my God, what are these? You know, Mr. Mystery Position fucking 101, I think, Dave. But,
and she mentioned a few times, didn't she? What did she say? She said a phrase I've never heard before. It must be an Aussie thing. But she says, what does it take to get a root?
Yeah.
Did you pick up on that?
Yeah.
Like, a root? I've never heard of that before. But, you know, she's just fucking horny as fuck. And he's like a schoolboy. And I did wonder, has he got like ADHD or something? Or is he just really uncomfortable with the situation? And so he's fidgeting, you know, with the feather and stuff to try and occupy his brain a little bit away from the awkwardness of the situation.
Yeah, you could be right. You could be right. Weird, really weird. Now, Dave, I've got one final thing to say on all this is I am going to literally throw my remote control at the TV if Holly decides to stay, right? Her and Andrew have got to finish. Gone. See you later. Don't want to be you sort of thing. They're the one. I think even Anthony and Selin have a chance, even if it's just for TV. But they have got with a couple who go. They've got to go. Because the one thing that really pisses me off on this show is if you're in a relationship, you should both be in agreement. So for me, if they both say stay, they stay. If one of them says they want to go and one wants to stay, they go. And I don't understand this at all because they go, oh, you're going to have to be here for another week. Well, that's not how it works. If someone doesn't want to be in this environment, then surely.
But that's what makes it so great, though.
I know it does.
I really want to leave. Guess again. You're fucking staying here.
Staying again.
Torture.
Another all-inclusive holiday. But you know, for it to validate the show, I think the logic behind that, and you're right, we need these people, we need the drama, we need the silliness of it. But to validate the show and what they're trying to go for, it should be, unless they're in total agreement to both stay, they're gone, and you bring another couple in. That's how I'd do it.
Yeah. I don't think we've seen this before, where it has been so blatant that they just... right now, Holly and Andrew fucking hate each other. And if either of them stay. I mean, first of all, Andrew has to come back first because he walked out at the end of the episode, didn't he?
Yeah.
We saw that from Bryce about fucking 20 times last season. So I've no doubt Andrew will be back when he realizes that means his 5 minutes of fame has gone. But I don't think we've seen it where it's so blatant as this lot here. The likes of Selin, the likes of Andrew, there is no way they really wanted to stay other than to be on TV for a bit longer. Whereas before, it's been... You've had the odd thing, which is a bit where you think, oh, I thought they'd leave, and they choose to stay. But it's still like, 60% one way, 40% the other. Whereas this was just so far gone, for them two. I think, let's see. I think if they all say they're going to stay, I agree. I think for the next season, they sort of have to change something around because it's just too stupid, really. It's like the Love Island 50 grand. Are you going to split it or take it all? Well, they always take it all, don't they? So the leave thing has to mean something for me.
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you. There doesn't seem... That's what I think I mean is... And you always put it better than me, Dev, I must admit. But the actual... There's got to be a payoff. There's got to be something as a viewer. And there doesn't seem to be. I love the drama. I love Andrew's got to stay in just for that, but he can't stay in if he's being completely toxic all the time to Holly because that's not fair on her. This is where I think this thing I'm saying there's something slightly off with Holly is this is where we'll see if she is there for the fucking viewing, Dave. Because if she says stay next time, it's a fucking joke and I am out. I am off that train because there's no way there is anything. They cannot resurrect that relationship. They just need to part. And that's it. Absolutely gone.
there is another dimension to this, isn't there? Because it's not only necessarily about the relationship that you're in right now. No, I'm not promoting infidelity here, but on MAFS, I sort of am.
Yeah.
So I said last week that Anthony and Holly actually seem like a far better match. And if the matchmakers weren't just trying to fuck with people, they could obviously see that. We saw at the last dinner party, so episode 12, Holly had spoken to like Al. We haven't actually spoken about Sam and Al, so let's come back to them. But I think two things came across to me. Al, for his boyishness and immaturity, you can see he's got high empathy. He doesn't like it when other people are not in a good space and he tries to do something. And like last week, it was doing the whole shoey thing. Like everyone, it was this uncomfortable atmosphere. So he's like, right, I'll make a bit of a dick of myself and everyone will laugh and, you know, the atmosphere will be lifted. And he could see that Holly just was in a really bad place. And whereas the girls, like a lot of them were just ready to demonize her, he was just going over to check she was okay. But after that, you had Anthony going over there. And I'm like, I'm sure there's something going to happen here. Surely Anthony and Holly are going to see what we can see, that they are such a better match than the partners that they've currently got.
I think you're right, and let's also, Dave, because we saw it in the UK one, didn't we, where there was a bit of afters between two of the couples. But I think, you know what, Dave, I'm going to go
last year in Australia. You had Coco and Cam, didn't you?
Yes, sorry, yeah, you did. You said that before. You're right. Sorry, but also, Dave, you know, you've touched on a point there, and I forgot about Al. I'm sticking up for Al now. So Samantha, I'm not just saying it because Samantha is the name of my wife, Dave, so I can get a few digsy when she listens to this. It's not that at all. But,
you could actually say, right, you could legitimately say, Samantha is a fucking prick. Just at the right or wrong moment. And all I will hear on the end of this line is, dink.
Yeah.
Chris, you there? you there?
Look, I'm recording this when she's asleep, Dave, but you're right. Yeah, what a bitch she is. But anyway, on the show. But no, so Al, we get it. You know, he acts a bit silly. Me and you both called him out. The fucking press ups at the wedding and all that was ridiculous. He is 25. She's slightly older, but she's told him from the start she doesn't want affection. She's like, I don't want you to kiss me. He got pied off twice when he went in for a kiss. He couldn't put his arm on her. She said fucking no. So then she decided, oh, actually, let's have a kiss. So they have a kiss. So he doesn't know. If it was me, I'd be like, I don't want to put my arm around her just in case, because I might get fucking, she might have got me. It's the rejection, innit? He doesn't want the rejection. Yeah. So she set out the boundaries of the relationship. He's adhering to him. And then the next minute, we're getting these fucking faux crying when he doesn't like me. He doesn't want to. And I'm like, make your fucking mind up, girl, because you have set this up and he's only following him. And she's like, he only follows him when I say. And I'm like, but you've told him that from the start. So for me, Al is, I like Al now, I must admit. And I feel really sorry for him. I think she's just taking the piss.
I agree with you. I think Sam had a particularly bad week this week. She came off horribly because when, like you say, you had these fucking fake tears and it's like, oh, he doesn't come near me. He doesn't want to touch me. It's like, well, that's because you fucking snap at him whenever he fucking tries anything. And then when she was like, oh, well, you know, when I went to bed, I was expecting you to follow me. It's like, he's not a fucking mind reader. I mean, all blokes are not mind readers, but Al, you know, he's got a lot of growing up to do. And like I say, I think you see, he does definitely have that strong empathy. I do think he's so immature, even for a 25-year-old, but he's been mollycoddled all his life. You could see that from his mum, like getting all his fucking clothes ready for work, making him a packed lunch and whatever. So he's just been in that environment, but I think there is a good person there. She just baffled me. It's like, what the fuck do you actually want? And when you see Ali sat there, it's like, Well, I was watching a movie. He's got a genuinely confused look on his face. I tell you what, when Holly was trying to explain some of the flirting things that he could do, it was like someone who'd just woken up to the Matrix.
Yeah.
It's just been unplugged, and he's like, I don't understand what's going on here. Just that vacant expression on his face. He's so good, but I'm definitely warming to him. He's got a good heart, hasn't he? And I think when he gets a scolding, he reacts to it as well, and he tries to behave himself. But I do think, Sam comes across a bit inconsistent, and I don't know how much hope I hold out for this too.
No, and you know what, Dave? All I kept thinking as you've just said that is like the light bulb moment is him out of Step Brothers, where there's that meme of him looking at the screen and there's loads of fucking equations and he's crunching his nose up and he's looking like, what the fuck? He's just like, oh, right. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm Team Al at the moment. It could change, but the fucking stuff she was saying, and like you say, he's not a fucking mind reader. He's not a fucking sat there like fucking Uri Geller going, hang on a minute. I need to go and sit in bed with her. It was just bizarre, and I hope that the fucking what do we say? Not judges, matchmakers. They put to task, because they're the sort of little gaslighting things that'll fuck him up for life. He'll be like, "What the fuck is going on here? I don't understand. I don't understand women." That's what he's going to say. I found that really weird, but great TV, Dave, as always.
It is great TV, and you're right. I hope they really pull her up in the commitment ceremony, re-show those clips, and basically ask the question: how is Al supposed to know what you're signaling to him? Like, is he's not a mind reader, and maybe he doesn't, match up to your previous relationships, and how did they go? You know what I mean? It's like she needs a little bit of not brutal truth. What is it like? It's
like a home truth, doesn't she? She wants like an honesty, proper honesty tone at her.
She just needs it spelling out for her, her own behaviour this week, I think, and then just help him along. It's not, like I say, he's not Uri Geller, so.
No. Exactly. Anyway,
great show though, Chris.
What a great show! Dave, we've been properly yabbering on today. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, mate. But always, guys, please send your support in. Absolutely love it. We love when people are interacting with us on Facebook or social media. If you want to follow us on social media, at CD RealityCast. If you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. And as always, get over to Patreon, patreon.com/CD RealityCast if you want to support us a little bit more. We do appreciate everyone who supported us past and present. And today's roll call of honour is Kent Gustafson, Lucky Lulu Green, Lauren Hennessy, Susan Priscilla, Dee Dee, when I get there, Katie, Helen, Joanna, Zoe, Amy, Noreen, Brianna, Helen, Keith, and Michelle. So thank you so much, guys, for supporting us. It really is good fun. And next week, though, Dave, we will have to tell everyone it'll be slightly delayed, won't it? Because unfortunately, I've made the choice of taking my wonderful wife away for her birthday, Dave. And it's a big one, but I won't tell her. I won't say how old she is.
It's not that big.
However, I won't Dave, I didn't say that, you fucker, right? So I won't tell you how old she is, but
I said that as if ago, I know, but it comes across quite badly, that, doesn't it? Forget I said that, everyone.
No, keep that in, Dave. Yeah, so Sam listens to it. Yeah, so no, it's not me. What I'll say is, and she's as beautiful now as she ever was, when we first got with her all them years ago. 10 years ago, we went to Las Vegas, Dave, for a 40th. That's all I'm going to say, okay? So we're going away.
That is... You don't need to fucking say that. No, because talk about women's ages.
Dave, I've done that on purpose. So when we sat by the pool this week and she's listening, she's going to fucking backhand me and go, fuck off, Chris, you dick. So, Dave, age is a number anyway. It doesn't matter. She's still as beautiful as she was. And I'm proper creepy now. But anyway, so I am away. So there will be a slight delay. But we have got another episode coming this week, Dave, as well. So don't worry, guys. We have another show we're going to be covering, haven't we, Dave?
We have. And so we are idiots. I think everyone who's basically been with us for any length of time already knows that. And each time we say we are not doing multiple series. And it's usually me saying that and you agreeing, saying, yeah. And then it's also me who usually ends up breaking and saying, oh, fuck it, should we just do it? So we've ended up, we said, yeah, we'll probably drop The Bachelor. And to be honest, Chris, if we were going to drop The Bachelor, it'd be right now, wouldn't it? There is a lull coming, I feel, before we get to the end stuff where he's slept with multiple women. But we've been hearing on the grapevine quite a lot of good things about Love is Blind. And we covered the first season back in the days when, we covered one or two things. I think we just literally, was that the first thing we did after Love Island?
Something like that,
It might have been. Yeah, and so we did enjoy season one, and then we did the reunion as well. And we're like, oh, should we watch it? And it's like, oh, go on then. So we don't quite know what the format's going to be. There's already a bunch of shows dropped on Netflix. But the next episode from us, we're just going to cover that, episode 1. We don't know yet. Are we going to group up a few episodes like we are with MAFS? So we're going to do it episode by episode. But we'll figure that out. But yeah, if you're watching Love is Blind, then we'll be doing episode 1 next.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. So, Dave, I am going to go and start packing my case, my friend. It is time for me to depart these shores. Even with Storm Eunice behind us, Dave, we might get there quicker. And I'm really looking forward to this. So, good stuff.
Nice one. Then, so probably, what was it, F next? There'll be Storm Freddy next. So hopefully you get off the ground before then. So.
You're right.
All right, mate. Well, it's been great to speak to you. Have a lovely time. Of course, we'll probably speak a bit about Love Island, Love is Blind before that. I shall speak to you next time.
Take care. Bye.